I am that. Chapter 11. Awareness and Consciousness. Questioner. What do you do when asleep? Maharaj. I am aware of being asleep. Questioner. Is not sleep a state of unconsciousness? Maharaj. Yes, I am aware of being unconscious. Questioner. And when awake or dreaming? Maharaj. I am aware of being awake or dreaming. Questioner. I do not catch you. What exactly do you mean? Let me make my terms clear. By being asleep, I mean unconscious. By being awake, I mean conscious. By dreaming, I mean conscious of one's mind, but not of the surroundings. Maharaj. Well, it is about the same with me. Yet, there seems to be a difference. In each state, you forget the other two, while to me there is but one state of being, including and transcending the three mental states of waking, dreaming, and sleeping. Questioner. Do you see in the world a direction and a purpose? Maharaj. The world is but a reflection of my imagination. Whatever I want to see, I can see. But why should I invent patterns of creation, evolution, and destruction? I do not need them. The world is in me. The world is myself. I am afraid of it and have no desire to lock it up in a mental picture. Questioner. Coming back to sleep, do you dream? Maharaj. Of course. Questioner. What are your dreams? Maharaj. Echoes of the waking state. Questioner. And your deep sleep? Maharaj. The brain consciousness is suspended. Questioner. Are you then unconscious? Maharaj. Not quite unconscious. I remain aware that I am unconscious. Questioner. You use the words aware and conscious. Are they not the same? Maharaj. Awareness is primordial. It is the original state, beginningless, endless, uncaused, unsupported, without parts, without change. Consciousness is on contact, a reflection against a surface, a state of duality. There can be no consciousness without awareness, but there can be awareness without consciousness, as in deep sleep. Awareness is absolute. Consciousness is relative to its content. Consciousness is always of something. Consciousness is partial and changeful. Awareness is total, changeless, calm and silent. And it is the common matrix of every experience. Questioner. How does one go beyond consciousness into awareness? Maharaj. Since it is awareness that makes consciousness possible, there is awareness in every state of consciousness. Therefore, the very consciousness of being conscious is already a movement in awareness. Interest in your stream of consciousness takes you to awareness. It is not a new state. It is at once recognized as the original, basic existence, which is life itself, and also love and joy. Questioner. Since reality is all the time with us, what does self-realization consist of? Maharaj. Realization is but the opposite of ignorance. To take the world as real and oneself as unreal is ignorance, the cause of sorrow. To know the self as the only reality and all else as temporal and transient is freedom, peace, joy. It is all very simple. Instead of seeing things as imagined, learn to see them as they are. When you can see everything as it is, you will also see yourself as you are. It is like cleansing a mirror. The same mirror that shows you the world as it is will also show your own face. The thought, I am, is the polishing cloth. Use it. Chapter 12. The person is not reality. Questioner. Kindly tell us how you realized. Maharaj. I met my guru when I was 34 and realized by 37. Questioner. What happened? What was the change? Maharaj. Pleasure and pain lost their sway over me. I was free from desire and fear. I found myself full, needing nothing. I saw that in the ocean of pure awareness, on the surface of the universal consciousness, the numberless waves of phenomenal worlds arise and subside, beginninglessly and endlessly. As consciousness, they are all me. As events, they are all mine. There is a mysterious power that looks after them. That power is awareness, self, life, God, whatever name you give it. It is the foundation, the ultimate support of all that is. Just like gold is the basis for all gold jewelry. It is so intimately ours. Abstract the name and shape from the jewelry, and the gold becomes obvious. Be free of name and form and of the desires and fears they create. Then what remains? Questioner. Nothingness. Maharaj. Yes. The void remains. But the void is full to the brim. It is the eternal potential as consciousness is the eternal actual. Questioner. By potential, you mean the future? Maharaj. Past, present, and future. They're all there, and infinitely more. Questioner. But since the void is void, it is of little use to us. Maharaj. How can you say so? Without breach in continuity, how can there be rebirth? Can there be renewal without death? Even without the darkness of sleep is refreshing and rejuvenating death, we would have been bogged down forever in eternal senility. Questioner. Is there no such thing as immortality? Maharaj. When life and death are seen as essential to each other, as two aspects of one being, that is immortality. To see the end in the beginning and the beginning in the end is the intimation of eternity. Definitely, immortality is not continuity. Only the process of change continues. Nothing lasts. Questioner. Awareness lasts? Maharaj. Awareness is not of time. Time exists in consciousness only. Beyond consciousness, where are time and space? Questioner. Within the field of your consciousness, there is your body also. Maharaj. Of course. But the idea, my body, as different from other bodies, is not there. To me, it is a body, not my body. A mind, not my mind. The mind looks after the body all right. I need not interfere. What needs to be done is being done in the normal and natural way. You may not be quite conscious of your physiological functions, but when it comes to thoughts and feelings, desires and fears, you become acutely self-conscious. To me, these two are largely unconscious. I find myself talking to people or doing things quite correctly and appropriately without being very much conscious of them. It looks as if I live my physical, waking life automatically reacting spontaneously and accurately. Questioner. Does this spontaneous response come as a result of realization or by training? Maharaj. Both. Devotion to your goal makes you live a clean and orderly life, given to search for truth and to helping people, and realization makes noble virtue easy and spontaneous by removing, for good, the obstacles in the shape of desires and fears and wrong ideas. Questioner. Don't you have desires and fears anymore? Maharaj. My destiny was to be born a simple man, a commoner, a humble tradesman, with little formal education. My life was of the common kind, with common desires and fears. When through my faith in my teacher and obedience to his words, I realized my true being, I left behind my human nature to look after itself until its destiny is exhausted. Occasionally, an old reaction, emotional or mental, happens in the mind, but it is at once noticed and discarded. After all, as long as one is burdened with a person, one is exposed to its idiosyncrasies and habits. Questioner. Are you not afraid of death? Maharaj. I am dead already. Questioner. In what sense? Maharaj. I am double dead. Not only am I dead to my body, but to my mind too. Questioner. Well, you do not look dead at all. Maharaj. That's what you say. You seem to know my state better than I do. Questioner. Sorry, but I just do not understand. You say you are bodiless and mindless, while I see you very much alive and articulate. Maharaj. A tremendously complex work is going on all the time in your brain and body. Are you conscious of it? Not at all. Yet for an outsider, all seems to be going on intelligently and purposefully. Why not admit that one's entire personal life may sink largely below the threshold of consciousness, and yet proceed sanely and smoothly? Questioner. Is it normal? Maharaj. What is normal? Is your life, obsessed by desires and fears, full of strife and struggle, meaningless and joyless, normal? To be acutely conscious of your body, is it normal? A healthy body, a healthy mind live largely unperceived by their owner. Only occasionally through pain or suffering they call for attention and insight. Why not extend the same to the entire personal life? One can function rightly, responding well and fully to whatever happens without having to bring it into the focus of awareness. When self-control becomes second nature, awareness shifts its focus to deeper levels of existence and action. Questioner. Don't you become a robot? Maharaj. What harm is there in making automatic what is habitual and repetitive? It is automatic anyhow, but when it is also chaotic, it causes pain and suffering and calls for attention. The entire purpose of a clean and well-ordered life is to liberate man from thraldom of chaos and the burden of sorrow. Questioner. You seem to be in favor of a computerized life. Maharaj. What is wrong with a life which is free from problems? Personality is merely a reflection of the real. Why should not the reflection be true to the original as a matter of course, automatically? Need the person have any designs of its own? The life of which it is an expression will guide it. Once you realize that the person is merely a shadow of the reality, but not really itself, you cease to fret and worry. You agree to be guided from within, and life becomes a journey into the unknown. Chapter 13. The Supreme, the Mind, and the Body. Questioner. From what you have told us, it appears that you are not quite conscious of your surroundings. To us, you seem extremely alert and active. We cannot possibly believe that you are in a kind of hypnotic state, which leaves no memory behind. On the contrary, your memory seems excellent. How are we to understand your statement that the world and all it includes does not exist, as far as you are concerned? Maharaj. It is all a matter of focus. Your mind is focused in the world. Mine is focused in reality. It is like the moon in daylight. When the sun shines, the moon is hardly visible. Or watch how you take your food. As long as it is in your mouth, you are conscious of it. Once swallowed, it does not concern you any longer. It would be troublesome to have it constantly in mind until it is eliminated. The mind should be normally in abeyance. Incessant activity is a morbid state. The universe works by itself. That I know. What else do I need to know? Questioner. So, a Gnani knows what he is doing only when he turns his mind to it? Otherwise, he just acts without being concerned? Maharaj. The average man is not conscious of his body as such. He is conscious of his sensations, feelings, and thoughts. Even these, once detachment sets in, move away from the center of consciousness and happen spontaneously and effortlessly. Questioner. What then is in the center of consciousness? Maharaj. That which cannot be given name and form, for it is without quality and beyond consciousness. You may say it is a point in consciousness. Like a hole in the paper is both in the paper and yet not of paper, so is the supreme state in the very center of consciousness, and yet beyond consciousness. It is as if there were an opening in the mind through which the mind is flooded with light. The opening is not even the light. It is just an opening. Questioner. An opening is just a void? Absence? Maharaj. Quite so. From the mind's point of view, it is but an opening for the light of awareness to enter the mental space. By itself, the light can only be compared to a solid, dense, rock-like, homogeneous, and changeless mass of pure awareness, free from the mental patterns of name and shape. Questioner. Is there any connection between the mental space and the supreme abode? Maharaj. The supreme gives existence to the mind. The mind gives existence to the body. Questioner. And what lies beyond? Maharaj. Take an example. A venerable yogi, a master in the art of longevity, himself over 1,000 years old, comes to teach me his art. I fully respect and sincerely admire his achievements, yet all I can tell him is, of what use is longevity to me? I am beyond time. However long life may be, it is but a moment and a dream. In the same way, I am beyond all attributes. They appear and disappear in my light, but cannot describe me. The universe is all names and forms, based on qualities and their differences, while I am beyond. The world is there, because I am, but I am not the world. Question. But you are living in the world? Maharaj. That's what you say. I know there is a world, which includes this body and this mind, but I do not consider them to be more mine than other minds and bodies. They are there, in time and space, but I am timeless and spaceless. Question. But since all exists by your light, Are you not the creator of the world? Maharaj, I am neither the potentiality nor the actualization, nor the actuality of things. In my light, they come and go as the specks of dust dancing in the sunbeam. The light illumines the specks, but does not depend on them. Nor can it be said to create them. It cannot be even said to know them. Questioner, I am asking you a question and you are answering. Are you conscious of the question and the answer? Maharaj, in reality I am neither hearing nor answering. In the world of events, the question happens and the answer happens. Nothing happens to me. Everything just happens. Questioner, and are you the witness? Maharaj, what does witness mean? Mere knowledge? It rained and now the rain is over. I did not get wet. I know it rained, but I am not affected. I just witnessed the rain. Questioner, the fully realized man, spontaneously abiding in the supreme state, appears to eat, drink, and so on. Is he aware of it or not? Maharaj, that in which consciousness happens, the universal consciousness or mind, we call the ether of consciousness. All the objects of consciousness form the universe. What is beyond both, supporting both, is the supreme state, a state of utter stillness and silence. Whoever goes there disappears. It is unreachable by words or mind. You may call it God or Par Brahman or Supreme Reality, but these are names given by the mind. It is the nameless, contentless, effortless, and spontaneous state beyond being and not being. Questioner, but does one remain conscious? Maharaj, as the universe is the body of the mind, so is consciousness the body of the Supreme. It is not conscious, but it gives rise to consciousness. Questioner, in my daily actions, much goes by habit, automatically. I am aware of the general purpose, but not of each movement in detail. As my consciousness broadens and deepens, details tend to recede, leaving me free for the general trends. Does not the same happen to a Gnani, but more so? Maharaj, on the level of consciousness, yes. In the supreme state, no. This state is entirely one and indivisible, a single solid block of reality. The only way of knowing it is to be it. The mind cannot reach it. To perceive it does not need the senses. To know it does not need the mind. Questioner, that is how God runs the world. Maharaj, God is not running the world. Questioner, then who is doing it? Maharaj, nobody. All happens by itself. You are asking the question and you are supplying the answer. And you know the answer when you ask the question. All is a plain consciousness. All the visions are illusory. You can know the false only. The truth you must yourself be. Questioner, there is the witnessed consciousness and there is the witnessing consciousness. Is the second the supreme? Maharaj, there are the two, the person and the witness, the observer. When you see them as one and go beyond, you are in the supreme state. It is not perceivable because it is what makes perception possible. It is beyond being and not being. It is neither the mirror nor the image in the mirror. It is what is, the timeless reality, unbelievably hard and solid. Questioner, the Gnani, is he the witness or the supreme? Maharaj, he is the supreme, of course, but he can also be viewed as the universal witness. Questioner, but he remains a person Maharaj. When you believe yourself to be a person, you see persons everywhere. In reality, there are no persons, only threads of memories and habits. At the moment of realization, the person ceases. Identity remains, but identity is not a person. It is inherent in the reality itself. The person has no being in itself. It is a reflection in the mind of the witness, the I am, which again is a mode of being. Questioner. Is the Supreme conscious? Maharaj. Neither conscious nor unconscious. I am telling you from experience. Questioner. Prajnanam Brahma. What is this prajna? Maharaj. It is the unself-conscious knowledge of life itself. Questioner. Is it vitality, the energy of life, livingness? Maharaj. Energy comes first, for everything is a form of energy. Consciousness is most differentiated in the waking state, less so in dream, still less in sleep. Homogeneous is the fourth state. Beyond is the inexpressible monolithic reality, the abode of the Gnani. Questioner. I have cut my hand. It is healed. By what power did it heal? Maharaj. By the power of life. Questioner. What is that power? Maharaj. It is consciousness. All is conscious. Questioner. What is the source of consciousness? Maharaj. Consciousness itself is the source of everything. Questioner. Can there be life without consciousness? Maharaj. No, nor consciousness without life. They are both one. But in reality, only the ultimate is. The rest is a matter of name and form. And as long as you cling to the idea that only what has name and shape exists, the Supreme will appear to you non-existing. When you understand that names and shapes are hollow shells without any content whatsoever, and what is real is nameless and formless, pure energy of life and light of consciousness, you will be at peace, immersed in the deep silence of reality. Questioner. If time and space are mere illusions and you are beyond, please tell me, what is the weather in New York? Is it hot or raining there? Maharaj. How can I tell you? Such things need special training, or just traveling to New York. I may be quite certain that I am beyond time and space and yet unable to locate myself at will at some point of time and space. I am not interested enough. I see no purpose in undergoing a special yogic training. I have just heard of New York. To me, it is a word. Why should I know more than the word conveys? Every atom may be a universe as complex as ours. Must I know them all? I can, if I train. Questioner. In putting the question about the weather in New York, where did I make the mistake? Maharaj. The world and the mind are states of being. The Supreme is not a state. It pervades all states, but it is not a state of something else. It is entirely uncaused, independent, complete in itself, beyond time and space, mind and matter. Questioner. By what sign do you recognize it? Maharaj. That's the point. It leaves no traces. There is nothing to recognize it by. It must be seen directly by giving up all search for signs and approaches. When all names and forms have been given up, the real is with you. You need not seek it. Plurality and diversity are the play of the mind only. Reality is one. Questioner. If reality leaves no evidence, there is no speaking about it. Maharaj. It is. It cannot be denied. It is deep and dark, mystery beyond mystery, but it is, while all merely happens. Questioner. Is it the unknown? Maharaj. It is beyond both, the known and the unknown. But I would rather call it the known than the unknown. For whenever something is known, it is the real that is known. Questioner. Is silence an attribute of the real? Maharaj. This too is of the mind. All states and conditions are of the mind. Questioner. What is the place of samadhi? Maharaj. Not making use of one's consciousness is samadhi. You just leave your mind alone. You want nothing, neither from your body nor from your mind. Chapter 14. Appearances and the reality. Questioner. Repeatedly you have been saying that events are causeless. A thing just happens and no cause can be assigned to it. Surely, everything has a cause or several causes. How am I to understand the causelessness of things? Maharaj. From the highest point of view, the world has no cause. Questioner. But what is your experience? Maharaj. Everything is uncaused. The world has no cause. Questioner. I am not inquiring about the causes that led to the creation of the world. Who has seen the creation of the world? It may even be without a beginning, always existing. But I am talking of the world. I take the world to exist. Somehow. It contains so many things. Surely, each must have a cause or several causes. Maharaj. Once you create for yourself a world in time and space governed by causality, you are bound to search for and find causes for everything. You put the question and impose an answer. Questioner. My question is very simple. I see all kinds of things and I understand that each must have a cause or a number of causes. You say they are uncaused from your point of view. But to you nothing has been, and therefore the question of causation does not arise. Yet you seem to admit the existence of things, but deny them causation. This is what I cannot grasp. Once you accept the existence of things, why reject their causes? Maharaj. I see only consciousness, and know everything to be but consciousness, as you know the picture on the cinema screen to be but light. Questioner. Still, the movements of light have a cause? Maharaj. The light does not move at all. You know very well that the movement is illusory, a sequence of interceptions and colorings in the film. What moves is the film, which is the mind. Questioner. This does not make the picture causeless. The film is there, and the actors with the technicians, the director, the producer, the wearing manufacturers. The world is governed by causality. Everything is interlinked. Maharaj. Of course, everything is interlinked, and therefore everything has numberless causes. The entire universe contributes to the least thing. A thing is as it is because the world is as it is. You see, you deal in gold ornaments and I in gold. Between the different ornaments there is no causal relation. When you melt down an ornament to make another, there is no causal relation between the two. The common factor is the gold. But you cannot say gold is the cause. It is reflected in the mind. As I am, as the ornament's particular name and shape, yet all is only gold. In the same way, reality makes everything possible and yet nothing that makes a thing what it is. Its name and form comes from reality. But why worry so much about causation? What do causes matter when things themselves are transient? Let come what comes, and let go what goes. Why catch hold of things and inquire about their causes? Questioner. From the relative point of view, everything must have a cause. Maharaj, of what use is the relative view to you? You are able to look from the absolute point of view. Why go back to the relative? Are you afraid of the absolute? Questioner, I am afraid. I'm afraid of falling asleep over my so-called absolute certainties. For living a life decently, absolutes don't help. When you need a shirt, you buy cloth, call a tailor, and so on. Maharaj, all this talk shows ignorance. Questioner, and what is the knower's view? Maharaj, there is only light, and the light is all. Everything else is but a picture made of light. The picture is in the light, and the light is in the picture. Life and death, self and non-self, abandon all these ideas. They are of no use to you. Questioner, from what point of view do you deny causation? From the relative? The universe is the cause of everything. From the absolute, there is nothing at all. Maharaj, from which state are you asking? Questioner, from the daily waking state in which alone all these discussions take place. Maharaj, in the waking state all these problems arise, for such is its nature. But you are not always in that state. What good can you do in a state into which you fall and from which you emerge helplessly? In what way does it help you to know that things are causally related, as they may appear to be in your waking state? Question. The world and the waking state emerge and subside together. Maharaj, when the mind is still, absolutely silent, the waking state is no more. Questioner. Words like God, universe, the total, absolute, supreme, are just noises in the air because no action can be taken on them. Maharaj, you are bringing up questions which you alone can answer. Questioner, don't brush me off like this. You're so quick to speak for the totality, the universe, and such imaginary things. They cannot come and forbid you to talk on their behalf. I hate those irresponsible generalizations, and you're so prone to personalize them. Without causality, there will be no order, nor will purposeful action be possible. Maharaj, do you want to know all the causes of every event? Is it possible? Questioner, I know it is not possible. All I want to know is if there are causes for everything, whether the causes can be influenced, thereby affecting the events. Maharaj, to influence events, you need not know the causes. What a roundabout way of doing things. Are you not the source and the end of every event? Control it, and the source itself. Questioner, every morning I pick up the newspaper and read with dismay that the world's sorrows, poverty, hatred, and wars continue unabated. My questions concern the fact of sorrow, the cause, the remedy. Don't brush me off saying that it is Buddhism. Don't label me. Your insistence on causelessness removes all hope of the world ever changing. Maharaj, you are confused because you believe that you are in the world, not the world in you. Who comes first, you or your parents? You imagine that you were born at a certain time and place, that you have a father and a mother, a body and a name. This is your sin and your calamity. Surely, you can change your world if you work at it. By all means, work. Who stops you? I have never discouraged you. Causes or no causes, you have made this world and you can change it. Question. A causeless world is entirely beyond my control. Maharaj. On the contrary, a world of which you are the only source and ground is fully within your power to change. What is created can always be dissolved and recreated. All will happen as you want it, provided you really want it. Questioner. All I want to know is how to deal with the world's sorrows. Maharaj. You have created them out of your own desires and fears. You deal with them. All is due to your having forgotten your own being, having given reality to the picture on the screen. You love its people and suffer for them and seek to save them. It is just not so. You must begin with yourself. There is no other way. Work, of course. There is no harm in working. Questioner. Your universe seems to contain every possible experience. The individual traces a line through it and experiences pleasant and unpleasant states. This gives rise to questioning and seeking, which broaden the outlook and enable the individual to go beyond his narrow and self-created world. Limited and self-centered, this personal world can be changed in time. The universe is timeless and perfect. Maharaj. To take appearance for reality is a grievous sin and the cause of all calamities. You are the all-pervading, eternal, and infinitely creative awareness, consciousness. All else is local and temporary. Don't forget what you are. In the meantime, work to your heart's content. Work and knowledge should go hand in hand. Questioner. My own feeling is that my spiritual development is not in my hands. Making one's own plans and carrying them out leads nowhere. I just run in circles around myself. When God considers the fruit to be ripe, He will pluck it and eat it. Whichever fruit seems green to Him will remain on the world's tree for another day. Maharaj. You think God knows you? Even the world He does not know. Questioner. Yours is a different God. Mine is different. Mine is merciful. He suffers along with us. Maharaj. You pray to save one while thousands die. And if all stop dying, there will be no space on earth. Questioner. I am not afraid of death. My concern is with sorrow and suffering. My God is a simple God and rather helpless. He has no power to compel us to be wise. He can only stand and wait. Maharaj. If you and your God are both helpless, does it not imply that the world is accidental? And if it is, the only thing you can do is to go beyond it. Chapter 15. The Gnani. Questioner. Without God's power, nothing can be done. Even you would not be sitting here and talking to us without Him. Maharaj. All is His doing, no doubt. What is it to me, since I want nothing? What can God give me or take away from me? What is mine and was mine even when God was not. Of course, it is very little things, a speck, the sense of I am, the fact of being. This is my own place. Nobody gave it to me. The earth is mine. What grows on it is God's. Questioner. Did God take the earth on rent from you? Maharaj. God is my devotee and did all this for me. Questioner. Is there no God apart from you? Maharaj. How can there be? I am is the root. God is the tree. Whom am I to worship and what for? Questioner. Are you the devotee or the object of devotion? Maharaj. I am neither. I am devotion itself. Questioner. There is not enough devotion in the world. Maharaj. You're always after the improvement of the world. Do you really believe that the world is waiting for you to be saved? Questioner. I just do not know how much I can do for the world. All I can do is to try. Is there anything else you would like me to do? Maharaj, without you, is there a world? You know all about the world, but about yourself, you know nothing. You yourself are the tools of your work. You have no other tools. Why don't you take care of the tools before you think of the work? Questioner, I can wait, while the world cannot. Maharaj, by not inquiring, you keep the world waiting. Questioner, waiting for what? Maharaj, for somebody who can save it. Questioner, God runs the world. God will save it. Maharaj, that's what you say. Did God come and tell you that the world is His creation and concern and not yours? Questioner, why should it be my sole concern? Maharaj, consider. The world in which you live, who else knows about it? Questioner, you know. Everybody knows. Maharaj, did anybody come from outside of your world to tell you? Myself and everybody else appear and disappear in your world. We are all at your mercy. Questioner, it cannot be so bad. I exist in your world as you exist in mine. Maharaj, you have no evidence of my world. You are completely wrapped up in the world of your own making. Questioner, I see. Completely, but hopelessly? Maharaj, within the prison of your world appears a man who tells you that the world of painful contradictions which you have created is neither continuous nor permanent and is based on a misapprehension. He pleads with you to get out of it by the same way by which you got into it. You got into it by forgetting what you are, and you will get out of it by knowing yourself as you are. Questioner, in what way does it affect the world? Maharaj, when you are free of the world, you can do something about it. As long as you are prisoner of it, you are helpless to change it. On the contrary, whatever you do will aggravate the situation. Questioner, righteousness will set me free. Maharaj, righteousness will undoubtedly make you and your world a comfortable, even happy place. But what is the use? There is no reality in it. It cannot last. Questioner, God will help. Maharaj, to help you, God must know of your existence. But you and your world are dream states. In dream you may suffer agonies. None knows them. None can help you. Questioner, so all my questions, my search and study are of no use? Maharaj, these are but the stirrings of a man who is tired of sleeping. They are not the causes of awakening, but its early signs. But you must not ask idle questions, to which you already know the answers. Questioner, how am I to get a true answer? Maharaj, by asking a true question, non-verbally, but by daring to live according to your lights. A man willing to die for truth will get it. Questioner, another question. There is the person. There is the knower of the person. There is the witness. Are the knower and the witness the same, or are they separate states? Maharaj, the knower and the witness are two or one. When the knower is seen as separate from the known, the witness stands alone. When the knower and known are seen as one, the witness becomes one with them. Questioner, who is the Gnani, the witness or the supreme? Maharaj, the Gnani is the supreme and also the witness. He is both being and awareness. In relation to consciousness, he is awareness. In relation to the universe, he is pure being. Questioner, and what about the person? What comes first, the person or the knower? Maharaj, the person is a very small thing. Actually, it is a composite. It cannot be said to exist by itself. Unperceived, it is just not there. It is but the shadow of the mind, the sum total of memories. Pure being is reflected in the mirror of the mind as knowing. What is known takes the shape of a person based on memory and habit. It is but a shadow or a projection of the knower onto the screen of the mind. Questioner. The mirror is there, the reflection is there, but where is the sun? Maharaj. The Supreme is the sun. Questioner. It must be conscious. Maharaj. It is neither conscious nor unconscious. Don't think of it in terms of consciousness or unconsciousness. It is the life which contains both and is beyond both. Questioner. Life is so intelligent. How can it be unconscious? Maharaj. You talk of the unconscious when there is a lapse in memory. In reality, there is only consciousness. All life is conscious. All consciousness, alive. Questioner. Even stones? Maharaj. Even stones are conscious and alive. Questioner. The worry with me is that I'm prone to denying existence to what I cannot imagine. Maharaj. You would be wiser to deny the existence of what you imagine. It is the imagined that is unreal. Questioner. Is all imaginable unreal? Maharaj. Imagination based on memories is unreal. The future is not entirely unreal. Questioner. What part of the future is real and which is not? Maharaj. The unexpected and the unpredictable is real.